E3 conferences have come to a close, and Microsoft has unveiled what was known about to some for at least a couple weeks now: Dead Rising 4. While the leaks did look somewhat convincing, I didn't want to say anything until we got official word from them. If you haven't watched my retrospect, I recommend it. Without getting into a crazy amount of detail, I analyze the franchise and talk about how I adore the first title for being an amazing, non-traditional survival horror game unique for its time, how the sequel made great leaps to evolve the gameplay and take its own spin on the concept, and how the latest installment, Dead Rising 3, misunderstood what the original stood for. It was still a decent game, but made awful design choices, provided no real challenge, and felt ultimately unsatisfying. The story also fell completely flat due to poor writing. The monkey environment doesn't help these matters either. While I expected them to milk the Frank fanbase with something like Dead Rising 3 off the record, they seem to have decided to just shove him, without explanation so far, into the sequel known as Dead Rising 4. They were also nice enough to show some gameplay along with the CG showcasing our returning hero. Later we would see footage of the live demo Capcom has presented on the show floor for attendees to play. Along with that, it's worth noting the descriptions provided by stores such as Amazon, some of these points being rumored previously. 2 all-new classes of zombies: explore and scavenge the open-world sandbox of Willamette, Colorado while facing off against newly zombified enemies and agile zombies that can attack you from above. Exosuits give players a super-powered weapon with incredible firepower to take on the zombie horde. Multiplayer: team up with friends to complete missions in seamless 4-player co-op or quick match and join a game in progress with players around the world. And yes, you heard right, 4-player co-op, how about that? Kinda silly of them not to show that off during the conference. So what did I think of the footage they showed so far along with the extra bit of info? First thing I definitely need to address, the story. This is Dead Rising 4, so it should be occurring after the 3rd game, right? Well, Frank is still alive during 3, just not present. Says he became a therapist or something lame like that, and more than 50 years old at that point. Possibly pushing 60 if this is supposed to occur after 3. He looks fairly young though, at least as young as he was in the first title. Unless he got some magical youth serum, the only explanation I can come up with is right now they're pulling a Super Castlevania 4 in which they're rebooting the franchise despite the actual name of the game. If this is true, I can understand. After how terribly written the 3rd game was, there wasn't really anywhere else to go with that story. Regarding gameplay, it looks like more zombie slaying goodness. Can't go wrong with that. The weapon combinations and vehicle combinations look neat. I noticed there's more small vehicles than before, along with combinations that utilize said vehicles. The environment still looks pretty dark, but I'm going to be optimistic and say that it's just the mall during its closed hours, and of course, nighttime. After all, Willamette Mall in the first title shut off its lights automatically at a certain hour. I also noticed there's a part of the city to explore as well, right outside of the mall's entrance. Regarding 2 different types of zombos, I'm not sure what to think of this type that sounds new. From how the description explains it, sounds like they could be like hunters from Left 4 Dead. Still, that's just speculation. It looks like they made Frank a bit easier to control and faster than previous titles. Definitely an improvement I welcome. His camera is back, of course. It's Frank, world's greatest zombo journalist after all. It's also become a habit for Capcom. Camera, no camera. Camera, no camera. And now, camera. The Exosuit is also in the demo, with Frank wielding this parking meter weapon like he's from that cancelled Project Hammer Wii game. I also like how it gives you the ability to destroy parts of the environment, such as dormant cars. They kinda make it sound like the Exosuits are part of the story, but that seems too far-fetched. I also think we'll have a few to choose from, perhaps with different kinds of weapons and unique abilities. In regards to 4-player co-op, hell yeah, bring it on. We got a taste of that in the Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha DLC, so I would love to see it be part of a full-fledged game. I also wonder if the other players will just be Frank clones, or if we'll see a return of a selectable roster with the likes of Chuck and even Nick. It probably won't make sense, but neither did Chuck as player 2 and Off the Record. Another rumor is they supposedly dropped the Forge engine and decided to go with Unreal 4. I've yet to experience anything majorly crippling with that engine, so hopefully it won't give this title any problems. I'm sure in the coming months we will hear more news on Dead Rising 4 and what Capcom Vancouver has in store for everyone. All I can say now is that I'm definitely interested. Frank West has so much character, it's no wonder why he's more likable than the rest of the cast. While Dead Rising 3 was ultimately disappointing, Capcom Vancouver is supposedly taking a lot of criticism to account while developing this game. Honestly, that could go one way or the other. Even so, they definitely have my attention for this upcoming title. To close this off, I'm happy to see Resident Evil take a different approach to the rest of its modern entries and become a survival horror that seems more subtle and emphasizes on the atmosphere with its new title, known as Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, while Dead Rising continues to be over the top, actiony, and hopefully more comical this time around. This way, the two franchises can coexist and provide different brands of survival horror thrills for their respective fan bases. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my bit about Dead Rising 4 but haven't checked out my long, detailed retrospect on the franchise, check it out down here, and feel free to subscribe to my channel to look forward to my upcoming review of the two recent films based off the games, and my eventual detailed review on Dead Rising 4 once it's released by the end of this year.